guys, so this week we're going to be taking a look at the Arcido Saxon, which is quickly becoming one of the best minimal travel and just kind of all-purpose backpacks that we've had on the channel. And so way back in the beginning of the channel, one of the first bags that we tested out was the Arcido Pharaoh. I did a lot of traveling with that and I was very impressed with the quality and features that the bag offered. And so throughout the past couple of years, I've been keeping an eye on Arcido and seeing the awesome product that they've been coming out with. But the Saxon is the one that really caught my eye from the moment I saw it. I just knew I had to try it out. So I reached out to the company to see if they had a review unit, and they were kind enough to send one over, and I've been using this as my day-to-day bag as well as for quick trips for the past couple of weeks, and I have to say the bag did not disappoint. It keeps many of the things that made the Pharaoh such a great travel bag to begin with and just puts it into a really compact package that has worked so well for both daily and travel use. In one of my more recent videos, I made a list of the bags that I think are best for using for both daily and travel use. So bags that are big enough to travel with, but not so big that you can't use them for daily use. At the time, I hadn't been able to test out the Arcido Saxon, but if I could have, I definitely would have included that as part of the list. It's been an absolutely great bag to use. Really solid build quality. I love the look, and I'm just really excited to share it with you guys. So I want to go ahead and thank the company again for sending in the bag for me to test out, and let's just go ahead and dive in and take a closer look at the Arcido Saxon. So starting out with the outside of the bag, I have to say I'm a huge fan of the clean and simple look that Arcido has chosen to go with here. The bag doesn't have a lot of extraneous pockets or straps, just very simple all around, but very effective as you'll see when we dive inside of the bag. So just a really great look that's gonna fit in well in a variety of environments. I really like the heather gray material that the bag comes with, and it's made out of a 600D Blendex Koja material that feels really water resistant, and the biggest benefit that it's gonna add is the weight. This is one of the most lightweight bags that's this versatile that I've had the chance to use. It comes in at 1.8 pounds, which is gonna be awesome, especially if you're trying to make those really tight weight restrictions on airlines such as Ryanair or AirAsia. Not to mention the small size of the bag is gonna make it very easy to actually carry on and even put under the seat in front of you, especially if you don't fill it out to its fullest capacity. And so the bag itself isn't too big. It comes in at 23 liters, which is a really solid daily bag size. But because of the way that the bag is made with the big clamshell opening that we'll see later in the video, you can fit a ton of stuff into here. And so when the bag is filled out, that 23 liter capacity still doesn't look too big. It never seems like it sticks out like a big travel backpack. So regardless of where I'm wearing this to, it always fits in very well. I've walked around the city a lot with it, and the bag has a really clean look. If I'm on public transit, it's not gonna bump into anybody. So I love how closely it hugs my back and just how clean the style looks even when it's completely filled. So great choice of materials here, providing a very lightweight experience but not sacrificing water resistance or durability. This material seems very similar to what was used on the Arcido Pharaoh, which we looked at a while back, and I had no problems with durability on that bag. On top of that, the bag has really nice YKK zippers all around with a good amount of water resistance. So you definitely feel like your items are going to be very well protected when they're inside of the bag. And so continuing on with the outside of the bag, if I could find one fault with the bag, it's that it doesn't have an external water bottle compartment. So I would have loved to have seen that, just because currently I had to put my water bottle inside the main compartment, which I typically don't like to do. I prefer to keep that separate from the rest of the items in the bag. The benefit there is that it does give the bag a very clean look on the outside. However, I do wish that that external compartment had been included. On the outside, the bag has two very comfortable handles on the top and side of the bag to make it very easy to pick up and put into an overhead compartment or to just carry briefcase style if you don't want to wear the bag. If you're walking into a meeting or something like that, the side handle is going to be very comfortable to hold the bag. It has a nice amount of padding. I really like the meshy material that they have here to prevent moisture from building up. And so you're gonna feel no fatigue if you're carrying this, even when it's weighed down. It's a very wide and comfortable strap, so really great job here. And while we're on the handles, as you can see, I've just hooked on my Hero Clip carabiner that I like to carry with me. There wasn't really another place to hook it. And so moving on to the straps and the back paneling, the bag has been super comfortable to wear. The straps here are very reminiscent of what we saw on the Arcido Pharaoh back in the day. They have a great amount of padding. It's super soft right out of the box. They're nice and comfortable to wear. They have the same meshy material that we saw on the handle, so this is gonna do a great job of absorbing moisture if you're wearing this with a fair amount of weight throughout your day-to-day. And then I really like the width of the straps. They're wide enough that they're not gonna dig into my back as I'm walking around with a lot of weight. And then as I've mentioned in a few recent videos, I really like the contoured shape of the straps. It fits my body type really well. I feel like these are more comfortable to wear than straps that just come straight down. And so one thing to note here is that the bag doesn't include a sternum strap, and there are no attachment points to add one if you prefer to use one. Personally, this didn't bother me too much just because the bag is so lightweight and it's really not that big, so I don't think it'll ever get to a point where it's uncomfortable to wear. But if you do like the support that the sternum strap adds, that's just an important thing to keep an eye on. On the bottom of the bag, I will also note that you don't have the ability to add or remove a waist strap or anything like that. Again, I don't think that that is something that should be necessary on a bag this size, but if you are somebody who just wants that extra bit of help with the weight, that is something to note. And so moving on to the back panel, I love how well padded this is. The padding kind of blends into the bag since it's the same color as the rest of the bag, but it's nice and elevated here. It's really soft and comfortable against your back, provides a good amount of support. I like the elevation in between the blocks as it does provide some air channels to reduce the amount of moisture that builds up throughout the day. One thing that I really would have liked to see is the use of the same meshy material here that you see on the straps. This would have helped prevent moisture buildup a little bit more. Unfortunately, due to the materials used here, even though the bag is elevated, it does tend to get a little bit sweatier than bags that have this material on the back. So just a small nitpick there, but still very comfortable overall with the amount of padding that's been included here. And so while we're on the back, one feature that might have been nice to see here is some sort of suitcase pass-through, as this seems like the perfect bag to pair with an additional carry-on if you're traveling for a longer period of time. So it might have been nice to include that. We've seen that in a lot of the bags we featured recently, such as the Dayfarer backpack or something like the Nomadic travel pack. So small nitpick, and personally I don't really use that much, as I try very hard not to travel with an additional suitcase. And so the last thing I'll mention while we're on the back of the bag is that you can actually tuck the straps of the backpack away if you want to carry it like a briefcase or just give the bag a cleaner and more professional look. It attaches to the bottom using these solid plastic clips here. Very easy to remove if you want to tuck the straps away. So if you do want to carry it as a briefcase, it's a process that has very little friction. And I like the use of these clips here, as this is so much easier than some of the butterfly clips that we've seen in recent bags. And you can definitely feel like these are solidly attached here. And I also like that they don't really dig into your side as you're wearing it. Sometimes with these bags that have the detachable straps, they can be a little bit uncomfortable when the straps are attached because of the way the clips are laid out. So I was glad to see that there was no discomfort here. And so jumping into the organization of the bag, I really like the few pockets that have been included here. They all seem very well implemented, very effective. I love the use of space. And so the first one I'll jump into is the laptop compartment. And so the bag has a great side access laptop compartment with a nice flap that covers it, and it attaches through magnets. So I always like to see the use of magnets in a lot of the bags that are coming out. And this adds some additional protection against water by covering the zipper up. So I really like the idea of using this strap here. And then on bags such as this, it's always great to see the side access laptop compartment. This makes going through TSA very easily. Here you get a clearer look at the zipper that also has a nice water guard here to help keep water out. And so opening the compartment up, you can see it has plenty of space. Could definitely hold up to a 15-inch laptop. Currently what I have here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see how much is left over there. And so the compartment is nicely padded. It doesn't have any sort of felt lining on the inside, which would have been nice to see to just add a little bit of additional protection against scratching. And then another thing to note is that the compartment isn't actually elevated off the ground, so it does have some padding on the bottom, but it would have been nice to see the bag have some sort of false bottom to keep it a little bit more protected against drops or placing the bag down hard against the concrete. And so pulling this out, you can see how easy it is to get the laptop out. Now that the compartment is empty, you can see just how much space it offers. So if you have a larger device that's a little bit thicker or taller, it should fit in there very comfortably. So really great job on the laptop compartment here. At the top, the bag has this great little quick access compartment. You can reach down and open that very easily. And I like how spacious this compartment is. So currently what I have in here is my sunglasses with their case. And then I also have just my Gerber dime multi-tool and a carabiner. But with those things in there, there's tons of leftover space. I definitely could have put my mouse in here or a charger or something like that. You can see my full hand fits in there very comfortably. And so one thing I really like about this compartment is that it has a very nice felt lining on the inside, so it's nice and soft. So if you do put your phone in there or your sunglasses without a case, they should be protected against scratching. And so pulling out the lining here, you can see just how big the compartment is. So it has a lot of volume. I like that it opens up a little bit wider to make it easy to grab those bulkier items that you might keep in there. One thing to note, as always with these compartments, is that it does poke into the main area just a little bit, and I'll show you that when we walk through the main compartment. So it does take some of the volume away if you fill it up completely, but so far I've loved how effective this compartment has been at allowing me to reach down and grab things quickly. On the front, the bag has just a larger kind of organizational area with some internal slip pockets and such. And so I really like that there's this little ledge that comes over the zipper to provide some additional protection against water, but you can easily access the compartment. And I love the amount of space offered here. As you can see, it comes up quite a bit, so it has a nice amount of volume if you have something bulkier that you want to put in there. And what I love about the volume on this compartment is that you can still use it even when the main area is filled up. So just love how well thought out this compartment is. As you can see, plenty of space so I can reach in. It goes all the way to the bottom of the bag. At the top, there's also a little volume here, so you can use both sides if you have something a little bit taller. And so just reaching way down towards the bottom, I just have my Kindle in here. And then I also have my Able Carry stash pouch, which has some of the smaller accessories that I don't want floating around. And then I also have my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. So even with that stuff in there, there's just a ton of leftover space. If I wanted to fit my toiletries or kind of my liquids to go through TSA a little bit easier, I'd be able to slip them in here and grab them very easily. So really nice amount of space provided here. And then on the inside, you can see there's a few organizational options. On the right here, there's 4 slots for pens or styluses. Currently what I just have is a stylus and laser pointer combo. I think the inclusion of 4 slots here is just a little bit of overkill. I would have preferred this space to be used to make this pocket here on the left a little bit larger. So here you see just another slip pocket that closes with Velcro. At the moment this isn't closing because I have my BluePop portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank in here, which is a little bit on the bulkier side, but it fits in there very comfortably. If I had something a little slimmer or less tall, this would have been able to close, and I like the security that the Velcro offers here to keep those smaller accessories in place. As you can see, it can fit my full fingers comfortably, and it actually goes down a little bit further, so the pocket is nice and deep if you have something a little bit taller that you want to keep in here. So I would have preferred to see either 2 of these, or at least take some of the space that these slots took to make this a little bit wider, but that's just being a little bit nitpicky. I love the minimal organization that's provided in here. And then at the front of this organizational area, there's just one mesh zipper compartment, which is also pretty large. And so opening that up, you can easily see everything at once. And currently what I have in here is just my UTech wireless charger for my phone. And then I also have my Apple Magic Mouse. And so this goes down to about the midpoint of this pocket, so it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. It's a little bit more elevated. So just a great spot to keep those smaller accessories that you don't want floating around the bag. And because the compartment's made of mesh, it's nice that you can easily see what's in this area. So just a really great job on this compartment overall. Very well thought out organization and just super effective to use throughout my day-to-day. And so moving on to the main compartment, the first thing you'll notice is that it actually has a lockable zipper. So if you're traveling with this and you have your clothes or sensitive items, you're gonna be able to add a little bit of additional security with the lockable zipper here. And so putting in my super secure code of 000, I can get into the bag, unlock that easily. And then I absolutely love that the main compartment is a clamshell style opening. You can lay it down completely flat for easy packing. And so as I'm using this throughout my day-to-day, I love that I can easily see everything at once. And so just going through the items that I have here, the first thing is my Beats Solo Wireless 2. And then I have my water bottle in here. As I mentioned earlier, unfortunately it doesn't have an external water bottle compartment. And then I have my GoRuck wire dock with all my dongles and cables and such. Next up I have my full-size moleskin notebook. Then I have a folder for my papers and receipts. And then I also have my Levitate portable standing desk. And so with the items that I typically carry on my day-to-day, I have tons of leftover space, as you can see. So that 23-liter capacity really offers a lot of flexibility in what you can carry. If you're somebody who likes to go to the gym and you want to put a pair of shoes and some clothes to go with your daily items, there's going to be plenty of leftover space. And I've always felt that the clamshell style openings give you a little bit more flexibility in what you can pack. It's great for managing bulkier items. So love the implementation here. At the bottom, you can see it has 2 compression straps. If you have a lot of clothes or if you want to just keep everything a little bit more tight or save some space, it's nice to be able to cinch everything down. Then as I was mentioning earlier, here you can see the quick access compartment from the top and just kind of how far it comes in. So if you have this filled out completely, it will take up a little bit of space, but because of how much volume is given throughout the bag, it shouldn't be any problem. I haven't noticed any issues yet. And so now that the main compartment is empty, the last thing I want to showcase is just how well the bag works for holding the items that I would typically use for a week-long trip. And so the first item I'll include here is my larger double-sided packing cube, which you've seen in a lot of my other travel bag videos. So that fits in here very easily. And then using the compression straps, as I was mentioning, I can tighten that down and just save a little bit of space and also just prevent everything from shifting around. So nice to have those to provide a little bit more stability. Then the next item here is my Air Travel Kit, which has quickly become my DOP kit of choice. I've absolutely loved traveling with this, and I'm gonna be doing a full walkthrough for this if you wanna keep an eye out for that in the future. And then I also have my Toms if I wanna take an additional pair of shoes. And as you can see, there's even a little bit of leftover space. If I wanted to put another flat pair of shoes that would fit in there comfortably, or even a thinner, smaller packing cube, I can include that as well. But for me, this is more than enough to take me through a week of travel. And so closing that up, you can see that there's no issues whatsoever. And then as I was mentioning earlier, one of my favorite things is that there's plenty of leftover space here on the front. So just tons of capacity. Arcido really making the most of that 23 liters of space. So just really great job overall by Arcido of making great use of that main compartment and of just creating a bag that's super useful and an awesome size that's gonna work well for a variety of different trips and daily use. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Arcido Saxon over the past couple of weeks. The bag has been super versatile. It's been great to use for daily use or for quick trips. I love the minimal but effective organizational options that it has and just the clean look. And so you can purchase the Saxon on Arcido's site for $120. And to me, that's a really reasonable price considering the quality, style, and features that the bag includes. Based on my experiences with the Pharaoh in the past, Arcido definitely makes some solid bags that hold up well over the longer term. They provide a 5-year warranty. And at that $120 price point, it's definitely in line with a lot of the other bags that we've looked at that are kind of in this category. And so as I was using this, the first bag that came to mind was the Timbuktu Blink, which was one of the best kind of daily / travel bags that we've looked at on the channel. It was really small, so it worked great for daily use, and you could actually tuck it under the seat when you were on a flight, but it was also big enough, and because of the clamshell opening like this bag has, it was able to hold a packing cube with some shoes and just enough stuff to at least get you through a week, especially if you're a minimal packer. I don't think it's quite as well built as this bag, and I didn't like the look as much as I like the look of this bag, and that one is varied very widely in price. I was able to pick that bag up for about 50 bucks, which at that price point, it's a complete steal. And I don't know if it'll ever get quite that low again, but periodically Timbuktu runs a lot of sales, and I've seen the bag at $60 and $100. Its normal price point is around $120, $130. And at that point, I think the Saxon is a better deal. I think it's gonna hold up a little bit better, and it's just more comfortable and has a better pocket layout in my opinion. But the Timbuktu Blink is definitely a bag that I enjoyed using a lot, and if you manage to get it during one of those crazy sales, I think it's gonna be a no-brainer. The next bag that this reminded me of was the Tortuga Set Out Divide, which is one of the best kind of all-around travel packs that we've looked at on the channel. That one is very versatile in that it can compress and expand, so if you want a bigger bag to travel with, it's going to be very capable with a 34-liter capacity, but it also compresses down to 26 liters, which is going to be a little bit bigger than this size, but it's still going to be very reasonable for day-to-day use. And that bag is very reasonably priced at about $180, and it has the same great quality that we've seen on a lot of Tortuga bags that we've looked at on the channel. So just a really comfortable bag to wear, and if you're looking for kind of a more full-fledged travel bag that's going to be able to hold more stuff, I definitely recommend checking that out. And so the next bag I thought of while using this was a GoRuck GR1. And so at first glance, those two bags might not seem that similar, but they both have a very simple lay flat design that's super effective. It can hold a lot more than you would think of by their diminutive sizes. So the 21-liter GoRuck, which is the one that I've used a lot and featured a few times on the channel, is not going to be able to hold quite as much as this, but it's definitely a more rugged bag. I mean, that bag is going to hold up to just about anything. And this bag is no slouch in the quality department, but if you want something that's going to last forever, the GoRuck GR1 is going to be a good alternative. Since it's slightly smaller, it might be just a little bit more usable for day-to-day use, especially if you have a smaller frame. But that's also going to be a lot more expensive, especially with the recent price hike. The GoRuck GR1 is going to come in at close to $400, which is a lot of money to spend on a bag, even if it is well made. And so if you're looking for a similarly styled and versatile bag that doesn't have as much of a tactical look, just a little bit more of a minimal, clean, modern look, this is definitely going to be a great alternative to that. The next bag that this reminded me of was the Recycled Firefighter 24-hour backpack. And that bag has a little bit more of a rugged appearance, but it's also very minimal, has a nice clamshell style design. It's not going to be quite as big as this one. That one is 22 liters, so just slightly smaller, but it feels like this bag can hold a little bit more. And I also prefer the organizational layout of this. It just has a little bit more pockets that you can use, and I also like that this has the straps inside, which makes it just a little bit better for packing your stuff down if you want to use this for a quick trip. But both bags are going to be in a similar price range. The Recycled Firefighter is going to be about $150 compared to the $120 that the Saxon is. And then the last bag I'll mention here is the Nomadic Travel Pack, which I've mentioned in tons of different videos. I've featured it in a lot of videos, and I keep bringing it up just because it remains one of the best packs that I've used over the past year. And as far as versatility, that bag's definitely going to give this one a run for its money just because of its ability to expand to 30 liters to be able to hold just a little bit more than this one, and then also compress down to 20 liters for daily use. And that bag also has tons of organizational options. It's very durable, and it includes the removable waist strap and the compressible packing cube. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than this, coming in at around $180 to $220 depending on whether you're able to get any of the discounts on it. So if you have a little bit of a higher budget and you're looking for a bag that might be a little bit more versatile based on the different features that it offers, that might be a good option to check out. However, personally, I prefer the look of this bag, and with the amount of stuff I've been able to squeeze in it, it definitely gives the Nomadic a run for its money as far as bags that I'm going to be using for quick trips where I only want to take one small bag. But with all that being said, this bag holds up incredibly well against the best bags that we featured on the channel. I've been super impressed with all the different features and versatility that it offers. And if you guys are looking for a very modern looking and sleek, lightweight and reasonably priced minimal travel bag, I definitely recommend you check this out. And so I want to go ahead and thank the company again for sending the bag for me to test out. And if you guys found this video useful, please go ahead and give us a like below. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you guys so much.